It's getting pretty dark out here, and I'm gonna start anyways. Welcome back to Lean and Define. This is Mozzie, NASM certified personal trainer. So it is past sunset. It is dark here. I am at the 9th Street Beach in Benicia, California, and yes. So I'm gonna go and get started on this. So the topic today is why being less muscular but fit might be a better option for you. And the reason this is an important topic to me, obviously, I'm not this big, bulky, muscular guy, but I think so much of the content on social media, so much of the content on YouTube aimed at fitness is always promoting the idea of being as big as possible, as much muscle as possible. And I'm not really trying to be a contrarian here. This is not me just being like, oh, I'm just going to say something different than everybody else. But this is like a legit thing. Is like, why is content always trying to push that? And I feel like my channel is kind of an alternative to a lot of the fitness advice out there. So I want you to consider the reasons why being a little smaller might be a better option for you. So number one, so you don't have to lift super heavy. That's one of the benefits of having a more lean look. And I'm not talking about having no muscle whatsoever or anything like that. I'm not in that camp, regardless of how I may look. But you don't have to lift as heavy. You can spend less time in the gym, and you can go at a more moderate intensity. Not lifting as heavy, lifting more moderate weights, maybe doing more like 15 reps, 12 to 15 reps, 12 to 20 reps, 15 to 20 reps. So it would be easier at the gym for a lot of people going that way. Number two, you could stick to only doing 1 to 2 days a week in the gym. And needless to say, that is a lot easier. It's an easier option for a lot of people, easier to fit into your schedule, not as much gym time. So I would suggest for a girl that wants a more just toned look, 1 day might be enough. If that doesn't work, maybe a second day would work. For a lot of guys, I would say 2 is probably a good number, and enough for you to probably be able to have a pretty lean, toned body, some muscle, some shape, for you to look good in a t-shirt, without having to be feeling like I'm living in the gym now. Number three, you don't have to eat as much, which for some people may be seen as a drawback because some guys just like to lift heavy and eat a lot. But some other people don't like the idea of just cramming a ton of food down their stomach all the time. So for those people, not having to eat as much may be seen as a benefit. And depending on your size, like even for me with my activity levels, some days I need like 3,000 calories a day. Some days maybe 2,700, 2,800 might be enough. I move around a lot as a personal trainer in my job, so I get a lot, like 10 to 15,000 steps on my busy days. Thank God. So it just depends on your activity levels also. But for a lot of guys, you can get away with higher calorie numbers depending on how active you are. Number four, you'll feel lighter on your feet and more athletic rather than just big bulky lifter dude, which could open you up to doing more things like cardio, just moving a lot. So it's just a different feel versus being that big heavy lifter dude that so many guys aspire to. Number five, you'll look better in your clothes. Like I do feel like when you have a leaner look, clothes just drapes better over you, and you have just way more options. You'll probably look good in a suit. You'll look good in a t-shirt. One exception is I don't think you look as good in tank tops. I would probably say if that's what you're going for, you're probably gonna have to stay away from tank tops. I don't look good in tank tops because I feel like that kind of requires bigger shoulders and arms and chest to some degree. So as a general thing, lean guys don't look great in tank tops, but that's okay. That's like one thing. I feel like you'll look better in more things, but maybe you'll have to give up tank tops. Some people don't like spending a ton of time in the gym. A lot of people love to do cardio, so it's less time in the gym. You may be good with just those couple days, 1 or 2 days a week in the gym, and then you can do more outdoor cardio if you like. You could go running. I mean, there's so many options. You could go running, you could go swimming, you can go cycling, you can do so many things outdoors. You can hike. So there's a plethora of options. If you're like me and you actually prefer indoor cardio and don't want to get a ton of sun exposure, you could just do it at the gym. Take a spin class. You can jump rope. You can run on the treadmill. You can just get on a stationary bike and cycle. There's plenty of options. You can get on a rowing machine. There's plenty of options for that as well. If you're like me and you actually like indoor exercise, I'm more of an indoor exercise person overall. And I actually found a 2025 study that was comparing different intensity of exercise, and there was a high intensity group, there was a moderate intensity group, there was a PE class style group, and there was a light intensity group. And actually the moderate intensity group had the easiest time restricting calories. They actually were able to get in a 600 calorie deficit, and they consumed less protein and less fat. And so I'm assuming they had higher carb diets probably, or carbs are probably a bigger proportion of their diet. And I found that I do moderate intensity weight training, and I find that I tend to crave carbs. I don't have a strong craving for protein and fat, so my fat and protein are both on the moderate side is my guess, but I consume a lot of carbs. And in this study, from what I remember, they weren't really telling them to intentionally cut calories. It was more about measuring the response their bodies and their appetites and all this had to exercise. More to do with their appetites. So it was actually the most effective when it came to being able to cut calories. And so I think moderate intensity is really good, and it's great if you want a more lean look and you're not just trying to become just like a bulky muscle guy or girl at the gym. And I'm including girls in this because I know like weight training is so popular with girls nowadays as well. So I'm including ladies. You are included in this right now. I think women with the 1 or 2 days a week can have a toned look, and guys can have a toned but a little bit more muscular look, where they can still have broader shoulders, arm definition. So you're not necessarily small, but you do have muscle definition at the same time, and you can have some abs. So just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. And this goes with the prior comment I made, but it's you won't necessarily be craving a ton of protein if you're going moderate intensity, which for some is great. Like I'm not a huge I don't prefer a high protein diet. I feel like it just doesn't have the right feeling for me. I prefer eating a lot of carbohydrates, a mix of processed carbs, but also like fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and things like that. I like to have a balance of both in my diet. So that could be seen as an additional benefit for a lot of people. And finally, I kind of already mentioned in the video, but I do feel like this is more conducive for guys like more of a beach body, and for girls a toned or athletic look based on like how many days a week that they're going in, and also how their bodies respond to weight training. Because again, like some people are more responsive to weight training than others. So for some girls, 1 day a week might be enough to just have that toned muscle and everything. For some, they might have to do 2 days a week. Some girls who are just naturally more on the skinny side may have to do a couple days if they're looking for, let's say, a more athletic physique or a toned physique even. Now, accompanying all this, I would say still like do cardio. Like make that 1 to 2 days a week your weight training number, and then the rest, I would say like try to incorporate cardio. maybe a couple times a week, maybe 3 times a week, maybe more. You can be the judge of how much cardio you want to include in all this, and of course, keep moving, get in your steps, keep moving, and just see how your body is responding to everything. If you feel like you're not getting quite the response you need, you can amp it up a little bit. But this is just some reasons that I'm here to say, consider getting smaller. Being as big as possible is not the only way to go. And I feel like guys feel this pressure that from other people. I feel it all the time. I constantly have guys. I work in a gym, and I constantly have guys encouraging me to build more muscle. And even if I've told them I don't want to, it happens all the time. But for me, it's like, I don't want to do what other people think I should do. For me, it's like, well, what do I want from fitness? How do I want to look? And so that's kind of, it's kind of that kind of stuff that has made me want to do a video like this, because it's like, it's just giving people another option other than what they're used to, or what they expect, or what they think that they need to do if they do go to the gym. And maybe they feel that pressure too, and I'm here to say, like, there is an alternative. So with that said, and let me add in a lot. Right now, I think, especially with a lot of girls in like their 20s and maybe 30s to some extent too, like, muscle building is really popular. And I'm also here to say that it's, building significant muscle is not the only option. And I think on girls, a toned sort of look or a slightly athletic look is something that always looks good. And once this fad probably eventually ends, they can look back in 10 years and be like, hey, I looked pretty good during that time in my life. So I'm including women in this too, because I know like max muscle building to some extent is popular with girls too. I see it in the gym that I go to. So with that said, this is Mozzie here, Lean and Defined. Take care and stay active.